Kevin, was it 3 a.m. in Hawaii when he called?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me thank Mickey Ibarra. When I think about someone who so selflessly, and I use the word selflessly and emphasize it, promotes others, particularly people from his community, other leaders. I don't know anyone who does it better than Mickey Ibarra. He doesn't do it. He doesn't do it so he can get his name on, you know, an award. He doesn't do it because he needs something from that particular leader. He does it because he's passionate about his community, and he really wants our leaders to work together and to be unified in fighting for our community. And I'll tell you something, I couldn't be prouder to call Mickey Ibarra a friend. I think it's why so many of the mayors have worked with him. They remember him when he was in the White House. They remember how responsive he was. They remember that he always took their call, and that he did what he said he would do, that he always came through. And Mickey, I want to thank you wherever you are right now. You sit on my seat, Mickey. That's my seat. Let's give him a big hand, Mickey Ibarra. Of course, he stole my young star staffer and his partner and friend, and Norma Vega, who's here with us today. And he knows talent when he sees it, as I do. And you know, let me say a couple things about the people that said nice things about it. And I feel really bad that I didn't get to hear Manny, but you know, Manny and I have a mutual admiration society. When I asked that Manny and Palmer speak, I did because I'm being recognized for my role as mayor and obviously president of the Conference of Mayors. And I think I can think of, there are no two other people that played a more prominent role in convincing me that I should run for president. These two people are the reason why I was elected president. Palmer calling me all the time, telling me to run for advisory committee and trustee and promoting me, and always so thankful and appreciative that the mayor of LA was as involved as I've been in this organization. And so I want to thank you for your friendship, for promoting me throughout the years, for your tutorials. He doesn't talk about the times he calls me and tells me what I ought to do, even now that he's no longer mayor. And I return his call as quickly as I do before you were mayor. And I'm going to say to all of you, that's what we ought to do for one another. In fact, I like returning my friends' calls who aren't in office anymore faster than I did when they were in those positions, because I think that's what friendship and respect is all about. So Doug Palmer, thank you. And then I didn't get to hear Manny, but I'll tell you something, you know, we all draft. Any of you ever cycle? I used to before I shattered this elbow. But you know, you draft, and you draft behind the lead. And you know, Manny early on was a supporter, was a mentor, worked with Doug to kind of engineer my rise through this organization, and I appreciate him for that. And he can tell you I call him back as quickly as I did, if not quicker than before. And he was one of the great presidents, as was Doug, of this organization. And I wanted the two of you to be a part of this because of all that you've done to help me get here. So to Manny Diaz, the great mayor of Miami, thank you as well. And because I've worked so well with Doug, and I guess he's still coming back from, we were with the vice president, we weren't fashionably late, and I apologize to all of you who maybe got here earlier. We couldn't leave, and then we got sequestered because the way it works, you know, when those what are they called, caravan or whatever, you have to wait until they're gone. So we got stuck. So I do apologize, but I asked that Doug also participate because I can't guarantee it, but I'm not sure that two president, vice presidents have worked as closely as we have. I was a big promoter of his early on, just as you two were for me. I knew it was important to have a partner. So he couldn't come, but not here yet. But I wanted to acknowledge and thank him as well. And then let me say a couple things. You know, I like to say I'm riding into the sunset, and nobody seems to buy that. But you know, I am looking forward to a little time to reflect when this is all over. I admire those mayors who have been mayor, you know, for 6 terms and 5 terms and 4 terms and, you know, 3 terms. I can tell you I've enjoyed these 7 years, and I can also tell you I'm going to work all the way to the last day, 11:59 and 59 seconds on June 30th, because I've been Speaker of the California State Assembly, and after the Speaker of the Congress, it's the big speakership, and a powerful one. I've been Majority Leader, Majority Whip. I've been a council member. I had a phenomenal run, if you will, when you think I was 3% in the polls when I decided a year and a half out to run for mayor. The other guy was at 45. 3% knew me. I'm sorry, 3% would vote for me, 45% would vote for him, 9% knew me, 72% knew him. A year later, I won. I lost in the runoff. And I came back and beat a sitting popular council member who had a 69% favorability rating, and then the incumbent mayor who had beat me 4 years before. And I tell people, with all the things I've ever done in my life, there is nothing I've ever done or will ever do that I will enjoy being more than mayor. I love being the mayor of my town. And I'm particularly grateful because my grandpa came with a shirt on his back, you know, more than 100 years ago, worked in the fields, didn't speak any English, didn't have much of an education, was a hard worker, a dreamer, you know, built a small business into a thriving middle-class produce business, had a good life. My mother was in the best Catholic boarding school in LA. And then he lost all his money in the Depression, and his wife left him. And he had to put my mom in a foster home. And I tell people I was the grandson of the greatest generation. My Grandpa Pete, sacrificed during World War II and gave me the opportunity that I have here as mayor. So to be able to have been the president of the Conference of Mayors. And early on, I told Doug, you know I'm mayor of LA and I can call anybody. I can meet with anybody, but I want to be a part of this organization because I know that I can learn from the other mayors. And I said this the other day. Now, every time I go to one of your towns, I walk out saying, God, I want to do that. I like that. You know, that's the way we ought to do X or Y. I've learned so much from those of you who I work with me in California. I've learned so much from those of you who I've got to meet and work with across the country. And I'm learning every single day, and that's the beauty of being mayor. So I appreciate that you would, you know, started out in 1994, did the biggest school bond in U.S. history, the biggest parks bond in U.S. history, largest expansion of medical care in California since Medi-Cal, when I did the Healthy Families program, and I never let anybody name anything for me. But when Mickey said he wanted to do that, I said, well, I'm riding in the sunset, so I guess I could start saying okay to some things like that. I'd not let anybody do schools or parks or whatever. But I do want to thank you for this acknowledgement. I'll leave you with a couple of tidbits. You know, I was very proud of this organization when we took on the issue of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, because I thought it wasn't a war resolution, but a jobs resolution. It was a resolution about nation building here in America, and I thought it was important for mayors to stand up for that. When we started the Freedom to Marry Coalition, there were 4 of us. Now there are 240 mayors who signed on. You know, we've taken on the issue of marriage equality, the wars, but also immigration reform, where we've unanimously, again and again and again, gotten behind this notion that in this great, generous America, we ought to be embracing these people who want to work hard and earn a pathway to citizenship. That's the America that we all love. And so I'd say, you know, and I always say to the young people that work for me, that want to run for office, never forget where you come from. Be authentic. Honesty and integrity matter. Where you are on the issues, you know, those things come and go. But stand for something. Don't be afraid to be the only one. If you're standing for something right, even if everybody else is on the other end. And in that vein, and finally, lastly, I was very proud of the president today. These kids who know no other country, no other country but this one, didn't come here by their own volition, came here with their parents, and in so many ways want to be a part of what this great country has to offer. And I said to the folks at the White House, and I said this after the marriage equality, and I said it on TV today, what was so important about this issue and the president coming on in support of marriage equality is it was authentic. It represented the values of who we are. And I hope that, you know, as people decide to run for mayor and be a part of this organization, we never forget who we are and why we got elected in the first place. And I thank you, and I appreciate it. And now I got my brother, Michael Nutter. This is the second time, Michael, that I said nice things about you and you weren't in the room. Like I'm trying to kiss up to the new president, and you know, he's not in the room, man, so it's getting a little tough, but I do want to say one more time why I wanted Michael to be here. I don't think, and I know with all respect to the other past presidents, we were very fortunate. Michael and I worked about as closely as a president and vice president's work. I mean, you're going to see a seamless transition in no small part because we worked on everything together. And I'll tell you, this organization is in great hands with a great mayor and a great partner. So Michael, thank you. You close it up. Close it up.
All right.
You're back in cleanup, baby.